Welcome back to IGN Live at E3. It's time to take a look at Pillars of Eternity 2. Josh and Andy are here from Obsidian to tell us all about it. Gentlemen, you announced earlier this year the crowdfunding campaign on Fig, which reached its goal in record time, so I think it's probably safe to say people are excited for Pillars 2.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Is this, here at E3, is this the first time people are really getting a good look at the game?
This is the first time we're showing off gameplay.
Very cool.
So long extended 15 minutes of gameplay footage. We have some exclusive stuff for IGN that we're showing off.
That's awesome. All right, so tell us, we have a whole new setting here for Pillars 2. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same world, but it's a new part of the world that hasn't been explored yet. So this is a region called the Deadfire. We wanted to go to a setting that was a little less traditional, so this is more of a tropical island archipelago. And one of the parts of that is sort of emphasizing exploration, which is why we have the ship and this world map feature that we're showing off right now. It really makes the game feel a lot more open and should encourage the player to do a lot more exploration.
Interesting. So this is a direct sequel, is that right?
Yeah, it is a direct sequel. You're playing the same character, the Watcher of Cadnua, and you actually, at the end of the first game, you're set up pretty well in a castle. At the beginning of this game, your castle is destroyed by a god who's come back, named Aethys, this dead god, who rises out of the ground, destroys your castle, and then stomps off into the ocean. And you have to go follow him to the Deadfire to see what he's up to.
So are you addressing, so if people haven't played the first game, are you thinking about how to onboard new players?
Yes, there's a lot of information to cover. We're trying to make sure that we cover it in a way that is, giving you the full picture without just bombarding you with a lot of stuff at the beginning of the game. It's a challenging prospect, but yeah, we're working on it.
I love the isometric look that you guys are still, still sticking with.
Yeah, and we're still iterating on the technology.
Yeah.
So with Deadfire, it's a huge step up from the first game. We've improved pretty much every aspect of the game, including all the lighting and background rendering, to better integrate the 2D and 3D look of the characters on the backgrounds.
Sure.
And we have really, really good, larger characters with higher detail textures and a lot better animation.
Yeah. So we're playing as the same character, but are there new characters that are going to be joining our party?
Yeah, so we wanted there to be some continuity with the first game, so there are a few companions that are returning. Adair, Aloth, and Pallegina from the first game are coming back. And then we have 4 additional companions that are new to this setting, and they're integrated really well into the story. So I think players will really enjoy how the companions and the story tie together in this game.
I see. So we're taking a look at is this sort of the exploration by
Yeah, this
ship?
is the open world map. So we have a huge, huge open world in Deadfire. And right now we have our ship and we're exploring. And we're going to a new dungeon that we just found. We just got a map. And here's a random encounter that we have. And this is a new feature in Pillars 2. And here you can play, basically you're a ship captain. And you play the role as a ship captain. And so you have dilemmas while you're out at sea. And here we found a derelict ship. And you can choose whether to send people in or go away. And here you can get some supplies.
Or sink it from a distance.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's your crew members kind of interject their opinions on which way to go, and there are consequences no matter what you do.
We have a little bird friend here. Pets were part of the first game, isn't that
So
right?
there are pets and then there are animal companions. Pets
okay.
are more cosmetic, although they give little mechanical benefits now. This bird here is the animal companion of the central character in the lineup, Maya. Maya is a new ranger companion for the game. She's with one of the new factions, the Royal Deadfire Company, and this is her hunting bird that goes with her everywhere. So,
Tell us about your combat system in Pillars.
So the combat system is based on the combat system that we used in Pillars 1. It is still a real-time with pause combat system. We've put a lot of effort into trying to slow the pace down a little bit, make combat a lot more clearer. The feedback is a lot clearer. The visual effects are not quite so overpowering. And overall, we feel the pacing is a lot better. But it still is a very traditional style, isometric RPG where you make tactical decisions.
Yeah.
Each character has a different class or multi-class. Multi-classing is a new thing that we've added. So if you want to play a fighter wizard or something like that, you can do that as well. But it's a very traditional sort of Dungeons and Dragons style experience.
Well, if you want to do a multi-class, is that something you have to roll at the beginning of the game? Like you pick which 2 classes you want?
Yeah, you're given the option at the beginning. It says, like, do you want to play as a single-class character or do you want to go the multi-class route? Because multi-classing is a little more complicated, so we want to make sure that we warn the player, like, this is a little trickier if you want to go down that route.
We're seeing some sort of stone golem creature here.
Yeah, so this is one of our new larger creatures. We're trying to sort of, because this is a sequel, and we're trying to up the ante and make things a little more grand in scale.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we have grappling. Nice. That's a new thing. This is an Ingwithan Titan who's guarding the entrance to this ruin. We have characters that have grapple attacks. They can slam you into the ground, kick you.
So for people who played the first game, is the flow of the game, the combat is all going to feel very familiar?
It should feel very familiar. We don't really want to make a radical departure from the first game. We really are just trying to, like Adam said, we're trying to improve every aspect. We're trying to make the combat really tactically deep, even deeper in some ways, but also clearer and easier to follow. Because a lot of the problems that people had weren't due to like being bad players. It was just that the feedback was really hard to parse through. So we have things like a combat log filter, so you can isolate which character you're looking at in the combat log. It just makes things a lot easier to follow.
Sure. So you're talking about you have this big open world to explore. Can you go explore anywhere from the outset, or certain places locked off until you?
We do have some restrictions at first, but then once you get to a pretty early point in the game, the game world opens up and you can pretty much go anywhere.
Interesting.
And I think that's very important for players to give them the freedom to play the game however they want, and it's not restricted to a single story.
I assume there are main story missions and then side quests that you'll encounter along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always put a large emphasis on having a lot of optional content, so players can explore the world. They'll stumble across crazy dungeons out in the middle of the ocean, or in a city you might find some weird crypt that you didn't realize was there. And we always try to make that stuff optional. And we have level scaling as an option for people. A lot of traditional players, they really don't like level scaling. They want to encounter content at the level it's designed for. Other people, they really just, they would rather have the experience sort of scale around them so that they encounter it at a challenging level for their party. So you can opt into that if you want to, but otherwise you can encounter it as you find it. So the nice thing is that if you really like that traditional experience, you can stumble across something that's very, very difficult and just get your butt kicked and then come back later and overpower it.
Yeah, sure. Is this like a dungeon area that we're seeing here?
Yeah, this is a ruin called Pokokahara that you encounter. This is actually a side quest.
Oh, cool.
You can encounter it actually as a side quest on its own, or some of the factions that you interact with can give it as a factional quest. So you can actually do this in a number of different ways depending on what faction gives it to you, or if you just stumble across, you can just sail around and find it.
Even though this is pre-alpha gameplay, I'm already seeing some really nice lighting effects.
Yes,
yeah,
the lighting and the shadows in the game are vastly improved from the first game, and it just looks amazing.
And all the characters have the materials that we use on their outfits are we're using physically based rendering, so they really look awesome and they integrate into the environments a lot better.
Here's a new feature that we have. It's exploding barrels.
That's
a traditional.
I've never seen that
one,
in a video game. That's a totally unique idea that you guys came up with.
Yeah.
So we're playing the same character. You've got these new characters that will be joining your party and some returning characters. Do we have any customization options?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important in the role-playing games that Obsidian makes that you, whenever possible, have customization options. So you can make, you can be humans, elves, dwarves, orlins, Amawa, godlike, and you can, customize your appearance, your skin tone, what hairstyle you have, facial hair, all that stuff. And of course, a big emphasis for us is role-playing. So the choices that you make, you can take quests in a number of different directions. You can be extremely cruel, very benevolent, a mix of those things. It's really up to you. We always try to leave things open so that the player can play the game that they want. And as always, we try to emphasize that if the player is a complete psycho and just goes aggro on everyone, there's still a way through the game.
But there are repercussions and consequences.
Yes,
for your
there are repercussions. It does make things a lot more difficult if you piss everyone off.
Yeah.
But you can do it. It's really important for us. A lot of us have a background in tabletop gaming, and we know those experiences where some player just is like, screw it, I'm flipping the table over and punching this guy, and you're like, all right, you can do that, and then you just play it out.
That's your choice. So you guys, Obsidian, are known for great stories. The broad strokes here are that this god has returned, destroyed your castle, and escaped into the ocean. So are you trying to hunt him down, get revenge?
You are tasked with finding him.
Okay.
So
okay.
you're basically, Well, one, he does destroy your castle. He actually drains a portion of your soul away. And yeah, he causes a lot of destruction, and a lot of people are very concerned about what's going on. So whether for your own reasons or because other people ask you to, again, you're free to define your own motivation, but that's why you're going after him.
Well, very cool. Yeah, that's our first look at gameplay in Pillars of Eternity 2. How how's the game shaping up? Or do you have a release window in mind yet? Or is it going to be a 2018 game?
Yeah, it's first quarter 2018.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're very happy
Yep.
with how it's gone.
It's looking
Yeah.
really great.
Thank you very
Thanks a
much.
lot
you.
for coming by the show.
Thanks.
Stay tuned. So much more to come here on IGN Live at E3 after this.